say that regression analysis is a mathematical measure of the average relationship between two or more variables in terms of original unit of the data. See friends, again I am repeating that the average relationship is the most important. Like my variable is how much my variable is deviating from its mean, so that we can calculate the impact of one variable over the other. Regression is the most used technique in the economics and business research to find the relationship between two or more variables. Again, I am repeating, it is not only restricted to the business or economics, but it can be applied anywhere. If you have two variable and if you want to check the impact of one variable over the other, then I feel the simple regression model is the best model. If you understand, if you learn, or if you understand this particular model, then there are very high chance that you can publish your paper comfortably. So now, types of linear regression model. There are basically two types of regression model. Number one is the simple regression model. What happens in this model? The regression analysis is confined to the two variables, is called as the simple regression model. Like I have to check the impact of variable A on variable B, or I have two variable, I have to check the impact of one variable on the other. Then the simple regression model is the best model, because it will say each and everything, like risk, like deviation from the mean, each and everything it will tell you. Second one is the multiple regression model. The regression analysis studying more than two variable is known as the multiple regression model. So when there are more than two variable, like I have to check the impact of B and C on the variable A, the impact of variable B and variable C on the variable A, then then I can go with the multiple regression model. If we take the example of the simple regression model, for example, if we want to the impact, or if we want to check the impact of the import on the GDP, then we can go with the simple regression model. But when we want to check the impact of export and import and real exchange rate on the GDP, then we can go with the multiple regression model. So each and everything is based on how much your variable is, or how much you have the variable for your research. Now, what exactly the simple equation, the simple regression equation says? It is like A is equals to, this is alpha plus beta z plus error term. U or mu I is also known as the error term. So let us understand what exactly is this. A is known as the dependent variable. See friends, listen to things very patiently. A is known as the dependent variable. We just want to check, or if we want to check the impact of Z on the A, then it will go. Then it will go as a dependent variable. For example, if I want to check the impact of import on GDP, then GDP will be my dependent variable, because I want to or I want to see the impact of import on the GDP. So A will become my dependent variable, or GDP will become my dependent variable. Like alpha is your intercept, then beta is your slope of the regression, and Z is your independent variable, and last one is the error term. So the variable which is checking the impact, it will become your independent variable, and ui or mu I is the error term. See, error term is nothing. It when we sum all the error term, the sum of the error term will always come 0. But what exactly it is, what exactly this particular term is? See, it is a residuals. We also call them residuals. Why we call them residuals? We generally check the deviation, or deviation from the mean. Like for example, uh, I have a return series. I have a stock market return series, and I just want to check how much remaining term, or how much term, or what amount my particular variable is deviating from its mean. It will become its residuals. It will become it residual. Like for example, my I have series of 30. I have the return series of 30 or 40 up to 20. My average was 20. For example, my average was 10. Let's say it was 10. Average was 10. Like 21st term comes 12. 21st term come 12. Like so I can calculate here that the mean is the 10. The mean is the 10 up to the 20 term, first 20 term. But on 21st day, the variable come at 12. That means it is very high deviating, or it is deviating by 2 on the 21st day. So in this case, the residual will become your 2. So I am again repeating this example. Like I have the series of 40 returns. Up to 20th day, my average was 10. My average was 10. But on 21st day, my return come 12. This means your residual, or your variable is deviating from existing mean by 2. So my residual in this case will become 2. So residual ultimately the sum of the residual will also come will always come 0. But we have to check, because all research is based on the residuals. Each and every research is based on the residuals, not on the variables. How much my variable A is deviating from its mean, I can calculate it simply. I can calculate this particular thing in what we can say in the Excel also. Why should I require this software, or why should I approve all assumptions? So these all are assumptions belongs to the residual. These all assumption are belongs to the residual. So somehow things are slightly different when it comes to the MBA statistics. We have to see what we are doing with the error term. Without error term, no model can be predicted. Without error term, you cannot predicted any model. But without alpha, you can predict the model. Without alpha, you can predict the model, but without error term, you cannot predict any model. Like we can say, without intercept, we have run the regression without the intercept or without the alpha. That is possible, but without error term, it is not possible to run any regression. So you can understand the importance of the error term. Each and everything is based on the error term. How error term is behaving in your research, or in your regression equation. That is the most important aspect of your research. Now, multiple regression equation. So see friends, what exactly happened here? Error term and alpha remain same. Your dependent variable will remain same, but your independent variable and the slope of each independent variable has been expanded. So fine. Again, A is your dependent variable. Alpha is your intercept. Intercept will always be 1. There are no chance, or there are no other intercept in the equation. Like we have been learned from the graph when we studied it in the MBA. Like we have only one intercept, where these two lines will cut each other. You can say it. Now, beta is your slope. Beta 1 is the slope of Z1. Beta 2 is the slope of Z2. Beta 3 is the slope of Z3. And beta K is the slope of the term up to where, or term up to which variable we are taking. It can be 10, it can be 12, it can be 13, anything. Now, Z1, Z2 are your independent variable. Now, mu1 is your, or mu I is your error term. See, up to this slide, anyone has any doubt? Up to this slide, I am asking from all participants. Up to this slide, anyone have any doubt? or all concepts are clear? Because you'll not able to understand the assumptions without understanding these all equations. Anyone?
Yes, sir. I have a doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, in simple regression equation,
Hmm.
sir, what if the residual keep changes?
Why residuals are keep changing? You are asking this question.
Uh, sir, as you said that, after this example, the other,
Ha ha
if
ha
the return
ha
for 20 days is 10, and after
ha.
20 days, if it will be 12, so 2 is our
No,
residual.
no, no, no,
Sir,
no.
what
I
if
am
it?
saying on 21st day the value come 12. Then what happened here? What happened here? The residual has been changed by 2. Residual has been
Yes,
changed by 2. That
yes,
means
sir.
yeah, what happened here? We are expecting the residual should be 10. But what exactly it comes 12. So somehow the deviation from mean become 2 on 21st day.
Yes, sir.
Now I am I explain this example more clearly on 27th day. Listen, my on 20th day my mean was 10. On
Yes,
20th on 27th day my mean was 9, and on 28th day the value come 10. So the
yes,
residual of 21st day become 2, and residual of 28th day become 1. Fine.
yes,
So
sir.
it regularly changes. It regularly changes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
it changes with every data point you are inserting.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is there any other questions from the participant side? If anything is not clear, the participants can ask, like, they can put forward their queries right now.
Sir, I have one more question.
Yes, please.
Sir, in these regression analysis, do we use dummy variables also?
Yes, we can use dummy variables. I'm coming on that particular topic also.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. I've been prepared such type
Yes,
of
sir.
things. Okay, how can we use the dummy variables when because most of the research when it comes to the primary they generally use the dummy variables only. They use the dummy variable only when it comes to the regression. When they apply the regression
Okay, sir.
model,
Sir, sorry, but
because yes, please.
sir, I have one more question.
Yes,
Sir, sir, as you said that there is a different equation for simple regression model and multiple regression model. So, sir,
yes.
these are the standard equations, or we formulate these equation according to our researches.
No. This is sorry. These were the sample regression, but you have to formulate your regression as per this only. There are no other standard format or like that. For example, in the multiple regression,
Yes,
how many variable I have been used? I have been used to the 4 variable, or I'm saying at bk or zki the number is 12. So up to 12 I have to formulate in the similar way. There are no other way to what we can say formulate the regression equation particularly, because
okay,
this is the standard format. You have to keep one alpha, you have to keep one error term, and
okay,
slope of each and every independent variable will come in front of you when you are applying in the any more in any software.
okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the nature of the independent variable is measured on a ratio or interval scale. See friends, again I am repeating, we have learned 4 type of scale yesterday. Last two variables or last two ratios, last two scales are not possible. We have to keep independent variable either ratio scale or interval scale. Otherwise it is not possible to formulate your regression model, because at least one series or one independent variable all independent variables should be on ratio or interval. That means you have some figures. You cannot keep it 0 1 0 1 0 1 like binary number. So for in case of independent variable, you have to keep ratio or interval scale only, while it is assumed that regressor are non-random. That means the independent variable is non-random. Yesterday we have been read that the variables are assumed to be random. That means we are talking about yesterday about the dependent variable. Like on the left hand side of the equation, it can be random, but right hand side should not be random, or it should be non-random. This means that their values are fixed in the sampling. In the whole sample, their values will be fixed. For example, my stock market return was 5% today. So up to the last point of data, I have to assume, or software will assume the 5% for the today's return only. So this is the important point. When it comes to independent variable, you have to measure, or you have to take only ratio or interval scale. You cannot keep other two scale here. Like we have been discussed yesterday, that generally other two scale deal with the binary digits 0 1 0 1, male female, educated uneducated, employed unemployed. It does not come, or it is not come in the independent variable. Yes, you can keep such type of data or such type of series in the dependent side, but you cannot keep such type of data in the independent side. That means you cannot use the dummy. There was one question from participant 5 minutes ago: how can we use the dummy variable? So answer is, on in case of dependent variable, you can keep the dummy, but in case of some mistake was there. In case of dependent variable, you can keep the dummy variable, but when it comes to independent variable, you cannot keep the dummy variable. This is an important aspect, because the variable which is independent generally shows the relationship with the other variable, or cause and effect relationship will be given by the independent variable. So if we keep 0 1 0 1, that means your impact will be bounded to either 0 or 1. Nature of the error term. This is also called as stochastic error term. See again the answer of the participant, which asked 5 minutes ago, that how error term will behave. So answer is this: that error term is stochastic. That means it is not fixed. It changed with every data point. Like on 21st day it was 2, on 28th day it was 1. So it is keep moving, it is keep changing. So that is the stochastic error term. That means it is moving. It should not be like it that we can fix a particular value. So residual or error term will always be moving. Now, the dependent variable has the very least impact on the on error term. Definitely, there are very less impact, but the impact which is leaving by the dependent variable is the core crux of the uh, of of your regression model or your research. Now, the nature of the regression coefficient, that is beta, or we can say the nature of the slope. Regression assume that the coefficient is some fixed number and not random. Therefore, we interpret the value on the basis of this coefficient. See, most important is the sign. Most important is the sign. Uh, if my beta is positive, then it can be interpreted that impact is positive or impact is increasing. Although it depends what type of research we are doing. Sometimes we have to interpret it on the basis of percentage also. If my value is 0.84, yeah, 0.85 or 0.86, then I have to interpret it in such manner that if my dependent variable is increased 100%, then independent variable has been increased by 84 or 85 or 86%. So it depends what type of research we are doing and how we want to interpret our own research. See, there are no fixed rule that how to interpret this coefficient, but yes, you have to check the impact of variable A on variable B. So it depends what type of research you are doing. Like I pursue the investment strategies, so I have to generally check the impact of one strategy over the other. So I generally interpreted this coefficient in the percentage, while some other researcher interpreted like it has been increased or decreased against the dependent variable, or due to the independent variable, the impact on the dependent variable uh, uh, was was positive or negative. So it completely depends. It depends on the researcher whether you have to interpret it as a percentage wise, or you have to interpret it as increase or decrease wise. The sign is the most important sign. If the sign of the coefficient is positive, that means impact is positive. If the sign of the coefficient is negative, then impact is negative. Bayesian statistics treat this coefficient as random. Bayesian statistics is like we can say that the variable is random. The core crux of the Bayesian statistics is that the coefficient is always random, while other statistics says that this particular coefficient is fixed. So it hardly matters whether it is random or whether it is fixed. So it hardly matters. It does not affect your research, but it was only for the for your knowledge only, that Bayesian statistics says that the coefficient is random, while other statistics says that the coefficient is fixed. So you can interpret it as per your choice, irrespective of random or fixed. You have not to write anything like that. I've been treated my coefficient as random or fixed. So next, assumptions of the classical regression model. See, I have been prepared 7 to 8 regression are there, assumptions are there. We'll understand it one by one. So assumption one, what it says: the regression model is linear in the parameter. The model should be linear. Like again, I'm saying that one question was there ki it is a fixed format for the regression equation. So my answer is there is a fixed format. The regression model will always be written linearly, like a is equals to alpha plus beta independent variable, or how many independent variable you have plus error term. So this model or this particular format is fixed, and the all parameters should be linear. Now assumption number 2. Yes.
Excuse me,
Any
sir.
other? Yes, please.
Uh,
Yes, please. Pinky ma'am.
Yes. There was
There was
some.
some doubt.
Yes, sir. There was a participant who wanted to ask something, but I think there is some error, so he is not able to ask.
Okay. In
We
the
can
end,
continue. Hmm.
I will solve the query of that participant.
Sure, sir. Sure.
If
Yeah.
okay. Now the assumption number 2. What assumption number 2 says: the regressor are assumed to be fixed or non-stochastic. Regressor, that means independent variable should be fixed. Independent variable should be fixed or non-stochastic. Again, I'm saying, for example, stock market give 5% return to what to day itself. In this case, or in this particular case, what exactly happened? The 5% will be fixed up to the last data point. From first data point to last data point, it will be fixed to the 5%. So it will be assumed that that independent variable are fixed. This means that their value are fixed in the repeated sampling. If you are doing different by using the different data set, and you are using that particular day in your data set, then your value should be the fixed. It should not be changed any more. Value of error term is 0. See, value I can I just want to correct here. The summation of error value of error term is always 0. Summation of error term will always be 0. Otherwise, it is not possible that your research will give you some good result. If you are doing on pen and paper, when it comes to software always take it as a 0, or in the end it will make the error term as 0. So this is the assumption number 3. Now assumption number 4, what say? The variance of each error term is homostatic equal variance. Like there are the chances the value of residual is different, but the variance of error term or the variance of the residual is always equal. So this is the biggest assumption. This is the biggest assumption of what we can say the regression model. This means there is no heterostaticity. We generally check no heterostaticity assumption in the software rather than to presence of the homostatic error term. Again, I am repeating, we generally see or we generally check the assumption of no heterostaticity rather than the presence of homostaticity. Fine, there is as such the extent up to I know there is no tool to examine in the eView software to find out the homostaticity. But yes, there are the chances, or there are some software. Well, there are some equations which gives you whether your term or your whether error term is heterostatic or homostatic. So homostatic says that there is equal variance, while heterostaticity says there is unequal variance. Your residual has unequal variance. See, this is the biggest assumption of your regression. Now, there is no this is also one of the prominent assumption. There is no correlation between two error terms. This means, or this also means, that there is no problem of the autocorrelation. So generally when it comes to software, we check the serial correlation problem or autocorrelation problem, that the error term does not have autocorrelation. See, autocorrelation and correlation are not a big different term. What exactly happen when the series correlated internally, or the residual of one series is of one data point is correlated with the residual of other data point, then this process is known as the autocorrelation process. So, or we can say that it is a type of correlation, but internal correlation we can say. The residuals internal correlation should not be there. So this term in the research is known as the autocorrelation or serial correlation. Serial correlation should not be there, or no autocorrelation will be there. Otherwise your regression will be treated as spurious. Fine. Then there is no perfect linear relationship among the independent variables. See, this particular assumption will apply only on multiple regression, not on the simple regression. Why? Because here they are talking about independent variables. That means more than two or more than two variables. They are not perfectly, or they are not linearly or perfectly correlated with each other. That means when you are performing simple regression model, you have only one variable. So if there is only one variable, there are no chance of the relationship or any other or independent variable relationship with the each other. So this particular assumption is for the multiple regression, not for the simple regression. This assumption is also called the assumption of no multicollinearity. This is also known as no multicollinearity assumption. It is named as, we can say it. Now, assumption number 7, error term should be normally distributed. See, normal distribution of the error term is an important, again it is important. We generally check 3 to 4 assumption when it comes to the research. We does not test all assumption, but we have to test at least 4 assumption. And which are these? Number 1, serial correlation. Number 2, normal distribution. Number 3, heteroscedasticity, no heteroscedasticity. And fourth one is the residual error term. At least these 4 assumptions should be tested. At least I'm saying. Less than these 4, there are the chances that reviewer may raise the question and says that your research is not perfectly what we can say, not perfectly approved all assumption or the major assumption, while other 2 assumptions are very common. And it has been treated that these assumption has been automatically approved. Like when it comes to assumption number 1, assumption number 1 says the regression model is the linear in the parameter. See, when the regression model has the standard format, then we cannot or it is assumed that the model is established in the similar way or in the way which is we can say which is of standard format. So this assumption is automatically approved. There is no need to apply some test or any other thing. Now, regressor assumed to be fixed or non-stochastic. Again, this assumption is also treated as that your regressor or independent variable is fixed. Now, assumption number 3. This assumption we have to check. We have to check this particular assumption. Now, again, this assumption we also check. We also check on the we can check through the software or by using Excel or pen and pencil, whatever it is. Now, this particular assumption should also be tested. It should not be assumed by the reviewer or your editor of the research paper that your variable does not have autocorrelation. You have to prove that my correlation is or my series does not have autocorrelation. So you have to test this particular assumption also. So when it comes to multiple regression, we have to test this particular assumption also. We have to show them, or we have to prove in our research paper that see, my independent variable does not have the multicollinearity. So these all are the testable. These 3 to 4 are testable, while first 2 are not testable. It is assumed. It will be assumed by the reviewer or any editor that you have been approved these all assumptions. Now, the methods of the regression. See, it generally follows the ordinary least square method. Although I am not discussing what exactly the ordinary least square, but when it comes to the software, you have to choose the ordinary least square method. Now, OLS estimators are blue. They are also known as best linear unbiased estimator. Next, desirable statistical properties. Desirable statistical properties. What are the desirable statistical properties for any variable or dependent or independent variable? Estimator should be linear. See, it should always be linear. You will not keep or you will not put 3 or 4 intercept. You have to put one intercept, and and you will prepare your equation in the similar manner. Number two, estimator should be unbiased. It will always be, it should be, sorry, it should be treated as unbiased, or your regression will automatically assume that my all estimators are unbiased. Number three, based on the efficient estimator, meaning that unbiased estimator with least variance, least or no variance. See, no variance is an important aspect, or error term means zero. We can say error term means zero should always come zero. Now, in tomorrow's session, we'll do some exercise on the EView software of the regression model. So this was the basic theory of the regression model, and in tomorrow's session we'll do some exercise so that we can understand how to interpret your results. See, if you are from other background, I feel that prepare two series. I will send two data series or one data series to the coordinator of the event by today evening. She'll pass to you, and will work on that particular date about data set by tomorrow itself, so that it can be understand. At least you have some data set, so you can interpret it. At least you can interpret the results, how one series is impacting on the other. So it will be live on the eViews. Now I'm open to the questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute, sir. Just a minute. Yes, sir, please.
So I have one doubt.
Yes.
Like, if we talk about all these variables and all this kind of a concept, the way we are already discussing it. So today there was a report by Morgan Stanley which says that the investors are pretty disappointed with the kind of returns that they are getting from the market. It was a report that was formed by Morgan Stanley. So we have already seen that there has been a tremendous amount of volatility into the market. The markets are suddenly rising and they are suddenly falling, irrespective of the fact that there has been any kind of packages being launched by the government or not. Whenever there is a package being launched, obviously there is a certainty that the market shall rise. But when we talk about the short-term aspects of it, we see that the expectations of the investor is pretty high with the market. So in that case, how do we define what can be the variables? Because on one hand, we have SEBI, which is taking very strict actions, like we have seen the insider trading action against the Biocon. Then we have seen few penalties being charged on Franklin Templeton kind of companies. So on one hand, we are seeing that the SEBI is taking a very strict hold of the market. And the other hand, the investor is expecting a very high rate of return, irrespective of the fact that there is nothing left into the market. So how can we find out the correct variables, and how can we find out
Nothing.
the
Please.
how can we try to correlate all these things, because everything is running into a different track. So in order to have a proper kind of a research, how can we correlate all these things into a simple platform?
Okay. So your question is we have to find out some variables to maximize our returns.
Absolutely.
And I have heard some sentence like that: nothing has been left in the market. It was given in the report. Fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I don't know who prepared this report. Number one. The type of economic reforms has been taken in last few years. I personally feels there is lot of remain in the market, and I feel because you see digital India. For example, I generally see the digital India. Approximately 10 to 12 year ago, we have to do some registry to our parents, and I have to send 5,000 or 10,000 rupees to them. But today what it happens, I sit on my chair, on wheelchair, round chair, and pass it to my parents account in just 5 minutes. What happens? What happens here? 5,000 rupees I send with the registry to my parents, and they'll receive after 10 days. Today, what it happens through the bank account, I have been pass it in just 5 minutes. So it's just an example. It's just an example. I don't know who prepared this report. Ki nothing has been left in the market. There are a lot of opportunity in the market. See, we are standing. Or we can say that the improvement in the IIP number, the industrial production numbers are regularly increasing. Though there was some shocks between 1 or 2 months among in last 2 or 3 months, but yes, it was the matter of time, hardly 2 or 3 months. So I don't feel there are nothing left in the market. There are a lot of opportunity in the market. And see, when it comes to the finding the variable, so you have basically two variables, technical and fundamental. But uncertainty has been increasing in the market. Uncertainty has been increasing in the market. There are no question in that. But we have to check such type of uncertainty on every a very high, or we can say very bad news. On very bad news, we should restrict ourselves. Again, I'm saying that you should hedge your portfolio, uh, uh, because hedging is an important aspect for any stock market. If you sit on a particular direction that I am expecting that market will go down to 6,000 or 30,000 Sensex, so I will sell I will sell the market, or I am expecting the 70,000 Sensex. It will not work. It will not work for any of the investors. So we should be cautious, number one, and we have to look for the fundamental as well as technical analysis. I personally feels the fundamental analysis is much better than technical analysis, because they put actual position of the companies in front of you. And yes, there are shocks. Nobody has seen such type of pandemic. Even academic area or academics has been suffered a lot from this particular thing. So we can't say that what is going to happen after 1 year or 2 year. But yes, we have to look the initiatives that is taken by the government, and how our foreign policy and economic policy is going on. See, I can I have been read somewhere that the GST collection was 1.41 lakh crore rupees. You are even I was not expected, even government was not expected. They were expected maximum 1 lakh crore, and they are
Correct,
and
sir. Yes,
and
sir. You're right. During May, even when there was complete lockdown, GST increased.
GST increase. So see what reforms are taken by otherwise by the government. Otherwise, in the time or in the era of the indirect tax, was it possible to correct such type of data or such type of amount from the custom, from the what we can say as an indirect tax collection? So it was not possible at all. The reforms which is taken by the government are very highly appreciative, number one. And number two, we have to understand how they are impacting on our economy. So I feel the fundamental as well as technical, use both analysis and work on that. Be stock specific rather than market specific. This is not the time to become the market specific, but still although I have been read some negative reports also that market is going to down, market will not sustain at this level. But I personally feels that market will be double from here in 2020. All parties will fight at 90,000 Sensex in 2024. This is my personal. I am not assuming anything, and don't take it that I'm predicting and this is the final figure, but this is my expectation that all parties will fight the 2024 election in at 90,000 Sensex rather than 40 or 45,000 stocks. That is my feeling. That is my feeling. I don't know about any others, but the way I am watching the market and the way I am see the foreign direct investment is regularly increased, then your what we can say this your the reserves are regularly increased. I don't feel that there are the chance of very bearish phase. The way these all report are assuming. I don't feel. Yes, the time will not be. Sir, just a minute. Let me finish. Then I'm coming to you. The era in which we are living, there are a lot of uncertainty. Like we can see, there are some border dispute from the two our frontiers like Pakistan and China. Definitely, money will be spent over there. Like government is giving free food to the 80 crore peoples. The money is somewhere going on. Our petrol is regularly rising. So considering these all factors, I don't feel there are issues, but yes, there are the volatility. These all factors are increasing the volatility in the stock market, but still I feel the 90, although I should not be specific, 90,000, it can be 85, it can be 70, and there are the chances that Sensex will be at 30,000. I did not see the future, but yes, my expectation is very high from the market as well as the schemes of the government and the initiatives are taken by the government. Any other thing? Ashutosh ji has been asked this question, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ashutosh ji, I feel that I have been satisfied your question. That
Absolutely, sir.
okay.
Absolutely, sir. No worries.
Any other
Just
thing? Any other thing?
one more question, just out of the league, maybe.
Please.
Sir, do you think that they are seeing the current situation of the Afghanistan, like whatever the condition in Afghanistan, right?
International politics. I have no idea about international politics, and Afghanistan is very tricky position. I will not able to say anything on that because it will not impact our economy. It is not going to impact our economy. So I does not read such articles or does not say or I'm not able to say anything about that. So in this case, I am really very sorry.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Any other thing?
Yes, any other questions from the participants?
Sir, I have a query.
Please.
Sir, to distinguish two variables, we usually take two dummy variables, that is 1 and 0. Sir, what
Yeah,
if
it is not like two variable. It is one variable series, 0 and 1. It should be like binary number. So series will be 1. It will contain two numbers, 0 and 1. Please, now your question.
okay, sir, if we want to do comparison between a series of three variables, can we say that?
Series of three variable in one series,
Yes,
2
sir.
1 and 0, 2 1 and 0.
Yeah, yes, sir.
No, it is not possible.
Okay, so sir, that's all I was asking. Sir, in that case, if we want to compare, for say, if we have a series of 10 years, and if we want to, no, 10 years, 9 years, and if we want to compare 3 years with each other, like first 3 years, second 3 year, and third 3 years. So in that case, sir, how many dummy variables we will take?
For 1201, first we'll check one you have been made the three groups, group 1, group 2 and group 3, where in group 1 there are first 3 year, in group 2 there are second 3 year, and in last one there are the what we can say so first thing, it is very tough to measure the group group 1 and 3. You can measure either 1 and 2 and 2 or 3. In this case, you have to put some structural breaks also. So I personally feels it is not possible to measure 1 and 3. It you can what we can say, you can examine 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. 1 and 3 is not possible in your research, because 3-year gap will be there. 3-year gap will be there. So either make it like 6 plus 3, 6 plus 3, and 3 plus 6. In this case, you can make two dummy variable or two dummy variable series, two dummy series. You will able to justify your answer.
Okay, sir.
So 1 and 3 is not possible, because you will what we can say, you will leave the 3-year gap, 3-year gap, and gap is not possible in any research. So in this case, you have to compare first 6 against 3 and first 3 against 6.
Okay, and sir, what if we are comparing the GDP of three different countries? In that case, what will we do?
We are comparing GDP of 3 countries with whom? With
With
whom?
each other.
In this case, you can say there are 3 countries: Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Vietnam. So keep anyone as a dependent variable and other two as a independent variable, and see the impact of these two GDP over the Vietnam, or the, if you keep the Pakistan GDP as a dependent variable, then keep it as a dependent variable, and other two as a independent variable, and you can interpret it only that thing, how these two GDP is impacting the GDP of the Pakistan. So there are no other way to interpret such result.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other doubt?
Any other query from the participant side? Sir, if the participants are not asking anything, I also have a small doubt in my mind,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it is entirely not related to the research methodology thing or any research aspect that we are doing here.
Okay, ma'am.
But yeah, it is related to economics, and as I could get that you are too much into economics and finance, I could hear from your lecture.
Yes, ma'am.
So there was a question in my mind. It has been there for a number of years or long years. I could not find the answer. So I
Yes.
just thought that this may be the right platform, or I may sound a little bit silly to ask such
No,
question.
ma'am. No, ma'am. Please, please, ma'am. See
Yeah.
what exactly happened. I'm coming to your work question, but I generally, yeah, when I taught in the class, taught in the class, my first question is, take 5,000 rupees from your parents and apply this 5,000 rupees to the stock market. If you will lose this 5,000 rupees, if you will lose this 5,000 rupees, you will get the learning of 50 lakh rupees. This is my first contention to the to my all students. Now, ma'am, coming to your question, please.
All right, sir. So the question is that when I was also a student of economics once in my 12th, I opted for economics, right? I had a great interest in that subject. And my teacher used to say in the classroom that whenever there is inflation in the economy, the gap between the rich and the poor rises, it widens, like poor become more poor and rich become more rich. This was some theory I had studied also. But once I was sitting somewhere with my cousins and the family members, and somebody asked, like, you are very much intelligent economics, can you answer this question? And I was not able to answer this question because the argument that that person gave to me, that when we say there is inflation or whenever we say that the prices are rising in the economy, we say that the cost of everything is rising. Like we are discussing here the prices of petrol, right? We say the prices are rising for the people who are having their conveyance, who use petrol. They say that prices are rising, right? But when it comes to a rickshaw puller, he also says that madam, prices बहुत बढ़ गए हैं, अब तो इतनी जगह जाने का 50 rupees लगेगा. The same rickshaw puller used to charge 10 rupees for the same distance. Now he's charging 50 rupees for the same distance, right? We have some guards and maid servants at our home. जिनको हम 500 देके monthly काम कराते थे, now they are charging 2000 for the same amount of work they are doing. So they
Agree.
are also charging high, right? So then
Right.
how we say that the difference is widening? Because is theory se to we can say the difference is the same. The distance between the rich and the poor is still the same. If we take it as on a national level, the distance between the rich and the poor, it's the same. It is a stable, right? If we are, our income is rising, the income of those people is also rising.
Is
So
also rise
yeah.
is also rising,
So,
definitely. So
so yeah.
the basic question is the difference between when inflation comes in the economy, then we can say the rising of sorry, the rich become more richer and
Yeah.
poor become more. Ma'am, I will give you the simple answer. See, this is the concept of K-shaped economy. एंड एंड सी मैम, थोड़ा सा मैं अब हिंदी में आ रहा हूँ मैम। अब हो क्या रहा है कि ये जो इकोनॉमिक्स है, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है, मुझे अब ऐसा लगता है कि कुछ नया कंसेप्ट इकोनॉमी में आने वाला है, क्योंकि ये जो कंसेप्ट है मैम अब बहुत बहुत ज्यादा क्वेश्चनेबल हो गया है। जो करंट इकोनॉमिक जो हमारी बात चल रही है, वी आर टॉकिंग ऑन के शेप इकोनॉमी, द रिच बिकम मोर रिचर एंड पुअरर बिकम मोर पुअरर। मैम एक सिंपल सी बात है कि भाई जो पुअर है उसके पास एक लिमिटेड आइटम है, एक लिमिटेड अमाउंट है जो कि वो खुद पे स्पेंड कर सकता है। बट क्या हो रहा है, अगर इन्फ्लेशन किसी भी इकोनॉमी में आती है मैम, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं आपके इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को भी उसी हिसाब से बढ़ाती है। अगर इकोनॉमी किसी भी इकोनॉमी में इन्फ्लेशन आ रही है, तो हो क्या रहा है, वो अकॉर्डिंगली ग्रोथ भी लेके आती है ना। अब पुअर क्या होता है मैम, पुअर जनरली इन्वेस्टमेंट में बिलीव नहीं करता है। वो अपना डेली का वो डेली का देख ले कि भाई मेरे को आज खाना है, मुझे आज ये बेसिक आइटम लेके आना है, तो उनका ध्यान इन्वेस्टमेंट की तरफ नहीं रहता है। तो ये एक कंबाइंड कंसेप्ट है मैम कि इन्फ्लेशन के साथ हमेशा ग्रोथ भी आएगी, या ग्रोथ आप लेके आ रहे हो तो आपको इन्फ्लेशन भी लेके आना पड़ेगी ये अपनी इकोनॉमी में। पर ऐसा ना हो जाए कि आप इतनी इन्फ्लेशन ले आओ या इतनी ग्रोथ ले आओ कि ये दोनों एक दूसरे के अगेंस्ट चली जाए। तो क्या होता है मैम, जनरली रिच लोग जो है वो अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं, तो उनकी ग्रोइंग रेट जो है वो बहुत फास्ट हो जाती है। और जो पुअर हैं उनका तो मैम डेली बेसिस पे है ना, उनका इन्वेस्टमेंट का तो कोई कंसेप्ट ही नहीं है। वो तो सिर्फ इन्फ्लेशन को पे कर रहे हैं, वो सिर्फ इन्फ्लेशन की प्रीमियम दे रहे हैं, जबकि ग्रोथ का जो एडवांटेज है वो ले नहीं पा रहे हैं मैम। दिस इज द बेसिक कंसेप्ट ऑफ के शेप इकोनॉमी। यहाँ पे रिच जो है और रिच होगा, पुअर जो है और पुअर होगा। दिस इज द कोर कंसेप्ट ऑफ व्हाट वी कैन से। और आप देखिएगा मैम, अगले 10, 15, 20 साल में कुछ ऐसा कंसेप्ट आएगा, आई डोंट नो क्या होगा, बट ये जो करंट कंसेप्ट है ये बहुत ज्यादा क्वेश्चनेबल है। हालांकि मैं कोई बहुत बड़ा इकोनॉमिस्ट नहीं हूं, मैं थोड़ा सा फाइनेंस की तरफ मेरा रुख ज्यादा है, पर जितना मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ इकोनॉमिक्स को और आपके अदर जो अदर फैक्टर्स है इनको, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये जो करंट मॉडल है ये बहुत ज्यादा बड़े रूप से क्वेश्चनेबल हो गया है। और आने वाले, हाँ मैम आ रही है ना आवाज?
There was some technical
Okay.
So there was some technical error. I could not. Hello.
Okay.
Am I
Okay.
audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Can
You
you
are
please
audible.
repeat what we
हाँ
saying?
मैम, सी मैं कोई बहुत बड़ा इकोनॉमिस्ट नहीं हूँ, मेरा कंसंट्रेशन थोड़ा सा फाइनेंस की तरफ है, बट हाँ जितना मैं इकोनॉमिक्स और ये सारी चीजें समझ पा रहा हूँ, उससे मुझे यही लगता है कि आने वाले समय में कुछ नया कंसेप्ट आएगा जो डेफिनेटली पुअर की तरफ ध्यान देगा। अभी जो इकोनॉमिक कंसेप्ट है उसमें लेबर और जो मिडिल क्लास और लोअर क्लास है, मिडिल क्लास की तो एक बेसिक है कि भाई वो हर जगह उसको परेशानी होना है, चाहे वो यूएस में हो, चाहे वो यहाँ हो, या चाहे कहीं भी हो। मिडिल क्लास को सबसे ज्यादा टैक्स भरना होता है, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, सबसे ज्यादा परेशान भी मिडिल क्लास को ही होना है। बट थिंग्स आर देयर कि भाई जब क्या है, अभी जो इकोनॉमिक्स है वो हायर क्लास और लोअर क्लास के बारे में ज्यादा ओरिएंटेड है। जब भी ये इक्वल में आएगा, जब कोई नया कंसेप्ट, आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग, आई डोंट नो, क्योंकि लोग बोलते हैं कि मैं बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेशन कर लेता हूँ चीजों से, बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं कुछ नया कंसेप्ट निकल के आएगा जो कि इक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करेगा इनकम, इन्फ्लेशन और ग्रोथ को। सो दिस इज द कोर कंसेप्ट कि भाई जो रिच हो रहा है वो इसलिए हो रहा है कि वो ग्रोथ का एडवांटेज ले पा रहा है। पुअर सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपना जो उसका डेली का काम है केवल उसको ही फुलफिल कर पा रहा है। तो दिस इज द बिगेस्ट एडवांटेज कि हम अचानक के शेप में चले जाए, के शेप इकोनॉमी में निकल जाते हैं। और पेंडेमिक के बाद तो के शेप इकोनॉमी बिल्कुल आ गई है ना, कि रिच जो है और रिच होता जा रहा है, पुअर और पुअर होता जा रहा है। वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स दैट। सर प्लीज।
Ma'am, can I add something to what sir has said?
Please
Yes,
sir,
sure.
please.
Go ahead.
First, a disclaimer that I am neither a student of economics nor commerce, but still I have my views about what we are discussing. The thing is, what you have said, ma'am, about disparity between rich and poor, I will put it in this way that if you see the percentage increase in their wealth, there is a disparity, but both are prospering. Even a rickshaw wala is nowadays having mobile phone, but he is still pulling the rickshaw. So while the rickshaw is turning into automated rickshaw. So while the economic disparity is increasing, the standard of living is increasing. So we have to be clear about that thing. Not that poor are becoming poorer, they are not becoming richer by the rate by which the richer are becoming richer. That is the key thing. One thing. Second thing, rich and poor are not just different in terms of their wealth. They are also different in terms of their thought process. And
Their
it is,
mentality.
yes, ma'am. And it is difficult to say which is the product of which, whether the wealth is product of the thought process or the thought process is the product of wealth, because both complement each other. I'll give you one example. आप आज कोई भी सर्वे करवा लीजिए जाके किसी भी जगह पे, एनीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड, और बोलिए कि हम आपको 20 लाख रुपए अभी देते हैं, चॉइस ए, चॉइस बी, हम आपके बच्चे को फ्री एजुकेशन देंगे वर्ल्ड के टॉप क्लास स्कूल में जहां पे भी आप चाहोगे, पैसा आपको नहीं देंगे हम, आप क्या चूज करोगे? एवरी 99% विल पिक दिस 20 लाख रुपीज, क्योंकि एजुकेशन एक लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट है, वो आज से 20 साल बाद आपको जो है रिटर्न्स देना शुरू होगा। तो उतनी लंबी सोच गरीब की नहीं होती है, वो आज और अभी में जी रहा होता है। सो कमिंग बैक टू स्टॉक मार्केट, उसमें आज और अभी में रिटर्न नहीं मिलता है। अगर एक ऑन एन एवरेज एक आदमी जो है, मैं एक सिंपल सा टैक्स सेविंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट जो 80C के अंडर में आता है ELSS में, उसमें 1.5 लाख रुपए हम सबको जो है सेव करना ही होता है, जो भी टैक्स पेइंग होते हैं। अगर वो ELSS स्कीम में डाल दे स्टॉक मार्केट की, तो जब वो रिटायर होगा वो ऑटोमेटिकली करोड़पति होगा, उसे कुछ नहीं करना है। लेकिन आप चेक करके देख लीजिए, डाटा मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, इंडिया की ओनली 6%, 06% population is investing in share market. So 94% people are staying away from stock market, which can make them richer, and that is because of the thought process they are having. वो क्या करेंगे? FD में करेंगे, वो क्या करेंगे? LIC में करेंगे, और उनका रेट ऑफ रिटर्न कितना हो जो इन्फ्लेशन को भी हार्डली बीट कर पाएगा। एंड इन्फ्लेशन इज नॉट ए बैड थिंग। इन्फ्लेशन रादर नहीं, अगर जीरो होगी तो इकोनॉमी डूब जाएगी। सो वी नीड इन्फ्लेशन, बट इट हैज टू बी अंडर कंट्रोल। So inflation per se is not a bad thing, but not having control on the inflation is a bad thing. Same way is the deflation. अगर deflation भी होने लगा वो भी इकोनॉमी के लिए खराब है। So inflation only increases the economy. So this is my understanding as a student who has zero knowledge about economics and commerce. Thank you.
Sir, exactly.
Being an aware citizen is very much important. You are the aware citizen of our country, so this is the more important thing.
सर इन्फ्लेशन विल ऑलवेज कम द ग्रोथ, और जब तक इकोनॉमी की ग्रोथ नहीं होगी तब तक आपका काम होगा भी नहीं। और जो रिच है वो जनरली इस ग्रोथ को एडवांटेज करता है, उसका प्रीमियम का एडवांटेज लेता है, पुअर अपने डेली वेजर्स में ही रह जाता है। ये एक कोर क्रक्स है मैम। अब इसकी इक्वेशंस तो देखना होगी कि क्या इक्वेशन बोलती है बुक्स में इसकी। अब आपने एक अच्छा, मतलब मुझे भी एक अच्छा वो दिया है कि इसकी ये इक्वेशन में चेक करूं कि क्या बोलती है कि किताबें की क्यों रिच रिच हो रहे हैं। बट जो इसका बेसिक कंसेप्ट है वो यही है कि इन्फ्लेशन हमेशा ग्रोथ लेके आएगी आपके। इन्फ्लेशन जब भी आएगी वो आपकी कहीं ना कहीं इकोनॉमी में ग्रोथ भी करेगी। डेफिनेटली आपका जो रुपया है वो डेप्रिशिएट हो रहा है, आपकी जो करेंसी है वो डेप्रिशिएट हो रही है, बट कहीं ना कहीं वो आपको एडवांटेज भी देगी। इन्फ्लेशन होना जरूरी है इकोनॉमी में। हालांकि अभी काफी समय से हम कंट्रोल में थे। अभी थोड़ी सी पिछले 2-4 महीने से ये न्यूज सुनने में आ रही है, बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये भी कंट्रोल हो जाएगी, क्योंकि ऐसा बता रहे हैं कि भाई जैसे अभी पेट्रोल 100 पार है एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स, बट अगले 2-3 साल में जो न्यूज में देख पा रहा हूँ कि इतने चार्जर पॉइंट्स हो जाएंगे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के और इतनी कार हो जाएगी आपके यहाँ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की कि आपकी डिपेंडेंसी जो एक अब व्हाट मतलब मैं वो वर्ड यूज नहीं कर सकता यहाँ पे लाइव प्लेटफॉर्म पे, बट हाँ आपकी जो डिपेंडेंसी जो जाएगी और जो आप आत्मनिर्भरता की तरफ, जो सेल्फ डिपेंडेंसी की तरफ जब आपकी कंट्री बढ़ेगी, तो आप देखना कि भाई आज आप 3 लाख करोड़ रुपया या वो 30 लाख करोड़ रुपया सिर्फ आप ऑयल कंट्रीज को दे रहे हो। कुछ भी बच गया, 10% भी बच गया आपके यहाँ, तो आपका एडवांटेज है, आपका एडवांटेज है। वो आपकी इकोनॉमी में रहेगा ना पैसा, वो आप अपने लोगों के लिए उनकी उनके उनके डेवलपमेंट के लिए कर पाओगे। और सीधी सी बात है मैम, अनटिल एंड अनलेस, भाई हेल्थ सेक्टर तो हमारे यहाँ हुआ ही है, जो अभी हुआ वो हम सब ने देखा। अब गवर्नमेंट सचेत हुई कि भाई आफ्टर 70-75 years वी हैव टू वर्क ऑन द हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आल्सो। नाउ समहाउ कुछ समय बाद आप ये भी देखोगे कि वी हैव टू वर्क ऑन द एजुकेशन सेक्टर आल्सो। जो इंप्रूवमेंट होना चाहिए था एजुकेशन सेक्टर का वो नहीं हुआ, वो नहीं हुआ। और अब काफी काफी आरटीआई एक्टिविस्ट और ये सब जो है ये गवर्नमेंट के पीछे लगे हुए हैं। अभी मैंने एक वो कोट देखा था, काफी डिस्कशन होता है, उन्होंने कहा कि भाई आज आप ये देखो 2018 रेगुलेशन, फॉर एग्जांपल अपन कॉलेज पे ही बात करते हैं, 2018 रेगुलेशन पे देखा जाए तो कोई भी व्यक्ति असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर बन सकता है, उसके पास पीएचडी है, उसके पास नेट है, दोनों एलिजिबल है, प्लस जिसके पास नेट प्लस पीएचडी है वो भी एलिजिबल है। मतलब तीनों कंडीशन में आदमी एलिजिबल है। भाई आपके यहाँ मिनिमम एलिजिबिलिटी, तो फिर आपने रेगुलेशन में लिखा है कि मिनिमम एलिजिबिलिटी इज नेट, फाइन, आगे आप लिख देते हैं कि 2009 रेगुलेशन के हिसाब से आप करते हो तो आप नेट से एग्जेम्प्टेड हो। भाई आपको अपने नॉर्म्स फिक्स करना होंगे। इसी प्रकार से जब मैं ये देखता हूं कि वो आपके एसोसिएट और प्रोफेसर के जब नॉर्म्स आते हैं तो वहां पे उन्होंने लिख दिया कि 7 पेपर्स इन द यूजीसी केयर और पीर रिव्यूड, सॉरी रेफर्ड या पीर रिव्यूड, ऐसा कोई वर्ड लिखा। बस ये वर्ड लिख के आपने क्या किया, सबको ओपन कर दी। मतलब जिस आदमी ने रातों जग के, भाई साल 1.5 साल लग जाते हैं इसको वेब साइंस में पेपर आने, है ना। तो मैम आपने क्या किया, उस व्यक्ति के सामने खड़ा कर दिया जिसने सुबह पेपर भेजा था और शाम को उसके पास ये एक्सेप्टेंस आ गया। क्यों? क्योंकि उसके जनरल पे पीर रिव्यूड या रेफरेड लिखा हुआ था। फाइन, तो है ना, एक दिन की रिसर्च में और आपने 1-1.5 साल वाले व्यक्ति को आपने वहीं जाके खड़ा कर दिया है। मैं मतलब कोई गलत बात नहीं है, बट ये शब्द हटना चाहिए भाई। या तो आप इतनी बात ही मत करो कि भाई हम रिसर्च कराएंगे लोगों से, भाई आप तो बोलो ना फिर क्या, जिसको बनना है बने, रिसर्च गई साइड में। अब आपको रिसर्च करवाना है, आपको स्कोपस लिखवाने हैं, आपको वेब ऑफ साइंस लिखवाने हैं, आपको टॉप इंडेक्सिंग लिखवानी है, साथ में आप रेफरेड को भी आप एक्सेप्ट कर ले मैम। और आप देखो अभी रिसेंटली काफी केस हुए हैं जो इस प्रकार के पकड़ में आए। अब आप ये देखो कि एजुकेशन सेक्टर आप लेके कहाँ जा रहे हैं। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं गवर्नमेंट इस तरफ ध्यान देगी, और नहीं देगी तो आपको और हमको याद दिलाना पड़ेगा कि भाई ये भी है एक सेक्टर।
अगर I also personally feel, yes sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, I also personally feel sometimes that sometimes somebody has to raise the voice. Agar government is not paying attention, the academicians should come forward. The thing is that academicians are so sophisticated and so down to earth, they are into studies and research. उनका जो mindset है वो इतना broad है, they are not the fighters. Like other communities are fighting for their rights, and there's everybody is fighting for their right. Like, but when it comes to academicians, we are so highly educated, so sophisticated in our behavior that we don't want to raise a voice. We find that fighting is not good. Fighting is not our character, right? So
Exactly,
I think
exactly.
this is the loop point. Someone from us have to raise the voice. We have to, improve the education system. Right? The person
Exactly.
who has done NET, who has done PhD, and who has enrolled for PhD, and who has not done, who has done just master, all are on equal platform. So where is the
Yes, yes,
difference?
yes.
No,
You have to.
I think, sir, what you are saying, government is now going to take care of it to the best of my knowledge. What they are doing is they are separating research from education. So those who are teaching, they will not be having this compulsion of publishing the papers. So they will be given this marks on the basis of their teaching aptitude rather than the research.
Okay.
So this government is going to take care to the best of my knowledge.
सर ये सुना था कि ये ऐसा हो रहा है, बट सर एक प्रैक्टिकल बात है, क्या इसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया जा पाएगा या नहीं जा पाएगा? आई डाउट,
It's hard. I also doubt,
हाँ,
sir. I really
आई
feel
डाउट कि
so
ये
because
इम्प्लीमेंट
it's
हो.
hard to
मतलब
implement. This is the thing.
ये मेरी पर्सनल फीलिंग है, होती है, बहुत अच्छी बात है सर. पर सर फिर अगेन द सेम थिंग. सर आपने टीचिंग और रिसर्च को फिर आपने एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म पे ला के खड़ा कर दिया. In this case you have to put some qualifications also कि रिसर्च फैकल्टी के लिए ये क्वालिफिकेशन रहेगी और टीचिंग फैकल्टी के लिए ये क्वालिफिकेशन रहेगी. अभी मैंने कहा 2018 का रेगुलेशन, तीनों केस, जो 3 केस मैंने बताया, सिंपल नेट, सिंपल पीएचडी, नेट प्लस पीएचडी, साइलेंट, anyone can become assistant वो प्रोफेसर, but yes they are saying 1/7/2021 से PhD is compulsion. Sir, now think कि 2021 1 जुलाई 2021 से पीएचडी कंपलसरी है और इसके बिना आप कोई असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर नहीं बन पाएगा. तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि नेट कहां गई फिर? आवाज नहीं आ रही है सर, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है, साइलेंट है.
हाँ, मैं कह रहा था सर, नाउ इट हैज बीन चेंज्ड. अभी तो जो जुलाई 2021 से, रादर 22 या 21 से
21 सर, 21.
नाउ इट इज कंपलसरी नेट भी और पीएचडी दोनों.
सर ये कहाँ लिखा है?
ये आ गया है सर ऑर्डर. ये तो मेरे पास ऑर्डर नहीं है, बट आ चुका है सर ये गवर्नमेंट का.
ये ऑर्डर आ गया है?
हाँ सर, आ गया.
ये नोटिफाई हो गया सर?
ये नोटिफिकेशन मेरे पास में नहीं है, बट ये कंफर्म बात है सर, ये डाउट नहीं मुझे.
सर मैंने जो नोटिफिकेशन देख रहा हूँ यूजीसी के वेबसाइट पे, जब तक वो नोटिफाई नहीं करेंगे,
हो जाएगा सर. वो भी इट्स ओनली मैटर ऑफ टाइम. जैसे मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ आपको. मैं साइकोलॉजी के फील्ड से हूँ. 2020 में एक गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने एक्ट पास किया था, मेंटल हेल्थ एक्ट. सो उस मेंटल हेल्थ एक्ट से पहले जो है कोई क्लैरिटी नहीं थी कि जो काउंसलिंग साइकोलॉजिस्ट हैं वो कैसे प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजिस्ट की क्लैरिटी थी कि वो आरसीआई रजिस्टर्ड कोर्स करेंगे, लाइसेंस मिलेगा, तब वो प्रैक्टिस करेंगे. बट जो काउंसलिंग साइकोलॉजिस्ट है उनके लिए कोई क्लैरिटी नहीं थी. तो 2020 में मेंटल हेल्थ एक्ट पास हुआ. उसमें लिखा है कि दे हैव टू जस्ट रजिस्टर. उनको कोई लाइसेंस की जरूरत नहीं है, दे हैव टू जस्ट रजिस्टर. ये एक्ट पास हुआ है. अब उसके एक्ट के बाद में रूल पास होते हैं. रूल के बाद में फिर जो है बॉडी बनेगी, बॉडी बन के फिर रेगुलेशन पास होंगे, फिर वो पब्लिश होंगे. उसमें टाइम लगता है.
एग्जैक्टली.
वो अभी तक नहीं हुआ है जो 2020 में एक्ट पास हुआ. ये तो मैं आपको रिसेंट अभी 20 दिन की घटना बता रहा हूँ. 20 दिन के अंदर की डेवलपमेंट है कि गवर्नमेंट ने ऑलरेडी कह दिया है कि फ्रॉम नाउ जुलाई 21 ऑनवर्ड्स पीएचडी एंड नेट बोथ विल बी कंपलसरी.
सर वो नोटिफाई हो जाए तो मेरे हिसाब से माना जाएगा. अदरवाइज कुछ कानून तो ऐसे जो 1994 के बने आज तक नोटिफाई नहीं हुए सर.
हो जाएगा.
मतलब बोलने से वो जब तक नोटिफिकेशन सामने नहीं आएगा तो जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट मतलब होंगे काफी मैम जिनके पास नेट पीएचडी नहीं है, तो
गवर्नमेंट का ऑफिशियल डिक्लेरेशन है जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ.
सर एग्री. डिक्लेरेशन होना और एक नोटिफिकेशन होना. सर बिना नोटिफिकेशन के कोर्ट भी हाथ नहीं रखेगा उसमें कि नहीं भाई जब कुछ बोला ही. अब बोलने से क्या हो रहा है? ऐसे तो वो अपने जो प्रीवियस मिनिस्टर थे मिस्टर प्रकाश जावड़ेकर, उन्होंने उनका नोटिफिकेशन है, उनका साइन किया हुआ एक आपको मिल जाएगा यूजीसी के वेबसाइट पे कि 1/7/2021 से पीएचडी कंपल्सन है. और आप जो बोल रहे हो कि नेट प्लस पीएचडी दोनों कंपल्शन है, इसको नोटिफाई करें अब यूजीसी। नहीं तो उस केस में ये हो गया सर कि नेट वाला गया और सिर्फ पीएचडी वाला जो है वो एडवांटेज में आ गया, नेट वाला साइड में। मतलब आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट?
आई थिंक कि ये मेरी नोटिस में भी आया है सर, ये आई हैव आल्सो रेड समवेयर, आई एम नॉट सो मच श्योर कि वेयर आई हैव रेड, but this was in news somewhere in previous days that net and PhD both are becoming compulsory for this post.
मैम आपको मैंने व्हाट्सएप कर दिया है, आप देख लीजिए, जी न्यूज में भी आ चुका है, आप यू कैन सी।
That's why I was saying ना कि I have come across this thing that you are saying, it's not new, मुझे I have this knowledge कि PhD and net both are compulsory from now onwards.
हाँ, आपको मैंने
व्हाट्सएप they are given some date कि इस डेट के बाद you have to do both the things.
हाँ, आपको मैंने जस्ट नाउ व्हाट्सएप किया, मैंने, आप चेक कर लीजिएगा, उसमें डिटेल्स वगैरह इसमें मेंशन है।
Okay, all right. So this was a very much interesting session today. I think we all had got to know so many new things. Right. Is there any other query from participant side? If any other participants wants to add on to this discussion?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, sir, we have to prepare ourselves for the NET as well as PhD. Those who have not done their NET or PhD, so do it as soon as possible. Otherwise, if this particular notification comes into the forward, in this case, what will happen? You will stuck to a particular place only. मतलब आज आपका जो सिलेक्शन है वहां तक ही है, आगे सिलेक्शन के लिए आपको नेट पीएचडी की जरूरत रहेगी। तो डू इट एज सुन एज पॉसिबल। सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स जिनका ये नहीं है अपनी तरफ से इसको कंप्लीट करें और अपनी क्वालिफिकेशन कंप्लीट करें, ये मेरा सबको सजेशन है।
बिल्कुल, क्वालिफाइंग नेट इज ए बेंचमार्क, उसके बिना तो पीएचडी करके आदमी कितने लोग भी कर लेते हैं, पैसे देके भी हो जाता है, बट यूजीसी नेट जो है वो दैट इज द बेंचमार्क।
नहीं सर दैट इज द बेंचमार्क। इट इज इक्वल फॉर वो आईआईटी पर्सन आल्सो as well as the person who is pursuing his PhD from private also, or from state university also, or from central university also, or from any IIM or IIT also. तो वो क्या, वो बेंचमार्क हो गया, वो कट ऑफ सब क्रॉस कर ले, उसके बाद फिर आप पीएचडी कहीं से भी करो।
और होता क्या था कि जो जिसने सपोज पीजी करके नेट क्वालिफाई किया हुआ, वो अप्लाई करता था जॉब के लिए, और एक पीएचडी वाले ने अप्लाई किया, उसने नेट नहीं किया है, तो पीएचडी के 30 मार्क्स हैं और यूजीसी नेट के केवल 5 मार्क्स हैं,
5 नंबर है,
तो कभी क्वालिफाई कर ही नहीं पाएगा।
एग्जैक्टली सर, दिस वाज द पॉइंट।
हाँ, तो वो तो ये बात गवर्नमेंट को समझ में आ गई और इसलिए उन्होंने कर दिया सर इसको।
नहीं, ये हो जाए नोटिफाई तो सर बहुत अच्छी चीज है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
बाकी लेट्स सी सर क्या होता है।
Yes, sir,
अच्छा मैम मैं आज आपको एक डेटा सेट भेजूंगा, और कल कोई पार्टिसिपेंट ने कहा था कि वो ईव्यूज 18 स्टूडेंट वर्जन वो कर देंगी पास सबको।
yes,
वो पॉसिबल नहीं मैम डाउनलोड करना, क्योंकि वो 64 बिट इंक्रिप्शन मांग रहा है, वो सबके लैपटॉप में जो है 32 बिट इंक्रिप्शन है, तो वो हो नहीं पाएगा।
तो फिर इसका कुछ सॉल्यूशन देखना पड़ेगा सर, क्योंकि कल तो मैं सोच रहा था कि एक बार कोएफिशिएंट और ये सब कैसे इंटरप्रेट करते हैं ये मैं बता देता हूँ।
वो एसपीएसएस में हो जाएगा सर, उसमें कोई बात नहीं।
तो फिर सर वो एसपीएसएस पे इशू ये है कि वो अजम्पशन चेक नहीं होते हैं उसमें, अजम्पशन का थोड़ा सा
सारे तो नहीं होते, कुछ तो हो जाते हैं।
हाँ कुछ तो, चलो आई विल ट्राई सर। मैं एसपीएसएस यूज करता नहीं, इसलिए मेरे साथ थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम है। एसपीएसएस में जनरली ये करता नहीं सर। मैंने कभी किया था इसको अपने पीएचडी से पहले, बट उसके बाद 2012-13 से तो मैं कंप्लीटली ईव्यूज पे ही हूँ सर। फिर भी आई विल ट्राई सर, आई विल ट्राई व्हाट वी कैन डू। ओके मैम, देन फिर कल मिलते हैं 11 बजे।
Yes, so that's all for today. Today we have got to learn so many new things also. And I request the participants to please switch on their cameras for the photo session, please. All the participants, please switch on their cameras for a minute. Many participants are opening the camera and like. All right then. Thank you so much, sir. And I would personally like to thank Sanjay sir also, who has always been so much interactive and very much active in our classrooms, and it makes the classroom more interactive and interesting. Thanks to you, sir, also. Okay, thank you, Peeyush sir, and thank you all the participants. We'll meet again in the next session at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.